I want you to imagine you're trapped in a cage and suddenly all hell breaks loose around you. Explosions, gunfire, lead and shrapnel screaming through the air. You cannot run. You cannot hide. You are in the middle of a war. Your home is in the zoo in Tripoli, in Libya. You are living through the final assault on Muammar Gaddafi's compound.
For over 40 years, Muammar Gaddafi ruled over Libya's people with an iron fist. On the 17th of February 2011, the Libyan people said enough, and today they celebrate their freedom.
This is now past the military compound into Gaddafi's castle, which you can see if you swing the camera over there. That's the castle behind there. And it's like a carnival going on here, but the problem is they're guns as well. While the people of Libya celebrate, the animals in the Tripoli Zoo begin their struggle to survive.
The Tripoli Zoo, once a favorite destination of Muammar Gaddafi's third son, Saadi Gaddafi, has been left in a state of neglect. Animals left behind, including 18 lions, languish in cages with little food or water. Four Paws International have taken it upon themselves to travel to the war zone to try to counter the fast deteriorating situation at the Tripoli Zoo. Myself and my wife Jackie, who's an ex-game ranger, were asked by Four Paws to join them.
So, why on earth would we want to be here?
In Libya?
Yes. One phone call. Dr. Amir Khalil.
One of the most remarkable human beings. And at his request we're here, and you can't say no to Amir.
He brought me in from a media point of view, and Jackie just said, fine, I'll do anything.
Yeah. It's an opportunity to go somewhere and truly make a difference, somewhere that help is desperately needed. So I'm very glad to be here to be able to make a difference.
The Four Paws team arrived expecting the worst, and considering the circumstances, were pleasantly surprised.
The zoo at first glance looks amazing. The buildings are modern, the infrastructure looks great. Some of the buildings here are in better condition than you'll find in the city. The staff are dedicated, the animals, most of them look like they're in good condition. Some of them need a lot of attention. So why is Four Paws here?
We came in the right moment. They are now in good condition, but maybe if we didn't come here, they will be very quickly in a bad condition.
If a lion is in a good condition, yes, and it starts getting diseases because it hasn't been vaccinated, yes, and it's in a confined environment,
yes,
how quickly can the lion go from being in a good condition to a bad condition?
Very quickly, very quickly.
This is Osama, a Siberian tiger. Staff at the zoo put his age at around 20 years. His tired legs are almost unable to carry his emaciated body. The fierce fighting in the area has prevented zoo staff from tending to the aging big cat. He's had no food or water for days. The tiger's acute senses have been overloaded by the war that raged around and within the zoo premises. Four Paws project leader, Dr. Amir Khalil, was deeply concerned about the animal's well-being. Osama's chances at survival decrease with each passing minute. Amir and his team have only a few days to restore some sort of balance at the zoo. They need to start as a matter of urgency.
What sort of help are Four Paws offering to the zoo?
The main priority here for the zoo is feeding the animal. As a result of the conflict also, it was no electricity here for some weeks. As a result of this, it was all the medicine here destroyed. During the conflict, a short time ago, it was also no water. But we thank God that the water problem already solved. And we supply now food for a while with the money of the donors. But we don't know how long this will help, as we don't know how long the political conflict will stay still in Tripoli.
The most wonderful thing is actually seeing food arrive. This has arrived for the hippo, and if it wasn't for magnificent donors, because that's where this is all coming from. It's coming from people sometimes thousands of kilometers away, and they've heard the cause and they've put money together and helped buy things like this, which we can now feed to the hippo.
The hippo enclosure bore the brunt of a direct hit from a rifle grenade. The trauma from the attack is still with these huge animals and makes them hesitant to leave the safety of the water. Finally, it is hunger that slowly coaxes the starving hippo towards the fresh food. With the water reconnected, the hippo will soon have a full pool in which to wallow. The slightest movement causes the once docile animals to rush back to the safety of the pool.
The behavior of the animals, most of the animals are changed because due to war, you know. Now you can see the hippos. Before you came here and you can touch it, but now it's impossible to do these things with it.
With the feeding program already underway, the Four Paws vets, alongside with vets from the zoo, prepare to inoculate the big cats. The facilities at the zoo are first class, and the vets are able to carry out their task in complete safety.
These are the private lines of the Gaddafis, and they've got to be inoculated. Now you can see how they do that. They bring them into a small enclosure and then they push the enclosure right up there. They're obviously not happy with what's happening here, and neither would you be, having needles stuck into you.
One by one, the big cats are coaxed into the ingenious crush. The team works through them all, making sure that every cat receives life-saving vaccines. The traumatised residents of the Tripoli Zoo do not just need food and medicine, they need to be able to take their minds off the carnage they witnessed just days before. Something good that they have never experienced before. The zoo's bears are in for a surprise.
What we're doing is we're just creating ice lollies, which is going to stimulate foraging behavior from the animals. So instead of just walking in and throwing their food down in the same spot, they're going to have to interact and play with this ice cube. It may actually take a while before they realize, because they've never ever had this before, it may take them a while to realize there's food in there, but the minute that it starts to melt and they smell it, they'll know that it's something to investigate. So I do find it incredibly ironic, because pomegranates are like $3, 30 Rand back in South Africa, but fortunately they're pretty cheap here, so there's just something quite bizarre about feeding pomegranates to bears in a war zone.
As soon as the door opened, the bear headed straight for Jackie's exotic ice lolly.
It's the first time they've ever had the ice lollies, and you can see everyone's an individual. Some of them go straight for the ice lolly and they start playing with it, even though they don't know what it is. The others are a little bit more tentative. But the nice thing is, if they don't play with them for a while, they'll slowly start melting, and then those smells start coming out, and that attracts them back to it. So it keeps them occupied, and they're moving, and they're using their claws, and they're playing ice hockey, actually. That's what they're doing.
The bears were getting aggressive, so we left them alone to enjoy the ice lollies. The Libyan war seemed far away as the team continued to stabilize the situation in the zoo. However, the positive mood would not last long.
We were just on our way to go and feed the primates, and got news from one of the staff members at the zoo that a mass grave has just been discovered just down the road from the zoo. It's not as though we try to be morbid or anything and rush after dead bodies. It's just that we need to show the reality of the situation in which we find ourselves. Have you identified who these bodies are?
Yeah.
Who are they?
They are soldiers.
When we got here, the stench was absolutely unbelievable. Some of the staff have got specialised, could I borrow that? Yeah, specialised breathing apparatus. So there are two mass graves here, the one containing 4, the other around 14 in close proximity. They're probably about 150 metres apart. Neighbours have told us that the bodies that they're waiting to exhume here were bodies that they found in the streets, and they didn't know what to do with them. There was no electricity, there were no morgues running, so they simply buried them here until such time as they could tell the Transitional Council that the bodies were here, and they've asked them to come and exhume them now out of their neighbourhood area.
These sobering scenes highlighted the brutality of a war that has affected all living creatures. Back at the zoo, Osama, the Siberian tiger, had taken a turn for the worse.
Not looking very well. I think he's very weak. And I don't know. He's suffering now.
After 42 years of suppression, Libyans are fighting for their freedom. These surreal images of prayer set the scene for the decisions that need to be made at the Tripoli Zoo, where Osama the tiger is fighting for his life. Dr. Amir Khalil from Four Paws International is having an internal battle of epic proportions. Does he leave the tiger to die, or does he intervene to try and save the animal's life?
Amir, have you reached any decision here? Because it can't be an easy one.
Very honest, it's very difficult for me. As a vet, I want to intervene now to try. And I have two options. We see, like, to put him to sleep quietly, without suffering, or maybe he will react, his body, if he still has the will to be alive, and to give him the chance, all the needed medicine and the medication, maybe to make his life better or his condition better. I don't feel well in general. I feel sad that I am not able to decide yet. And I don't know what to do, very honest. It's a very, very tough moment for me.
If you went in now and had to dart this animal, what are the chances of
50-50. 50-50.
It's just so awful to see an animal that was close. Is quite obviously suffering.
Amir finally makes a difficult decision.
As a vet, I want to help him. We would like to do our best now to bring all the medicine, give all what he needs. He needs some fluid, some things go in his blood, electrolytes. He don't eat. He don't have power even to fight, to be alive. He don't have it. He's not able to go to the food.
But you said earlier when we were talking that is a 50-50 chance.
50-50.
I suppose the alternative really is to stop his suffering, and the other 50 is to put him down.
As a vet, I mean, I will see the best if he reacted to the medicine quickly. It is very positive. If I see he's still suffering and he have no more power, we have to put him to sleep. But we have to do as vets our best, and as our animal welfare our best to give him a chance. I believe he was a big witness for all what happened here in the last years. In fact, he's 20 years old. He witnessed all what happened here. 500 meters from here, it's Gaddafi place. So, my opinion, he deserves a chance. Okay, we will do it. We'll do our best now. Okay.
Colin Ball, a Four Paws volunteer, tirelessly keeps spraying water on the gravely ill tiger. His efforts are rewarded with more movement than the tiger has made the entire day. The decision is made to dart Osama and to try and save him. There's no turning back. The tranquilizer takes effect quickly, and Amir needs to work fast. Even in this weakened state, a tiger can inflict lethal wounds with one swipe of a paw. The team needs to be cautious and be 100% sure he's asleep before the work can begin. There's some added pressure on Amir and the team as a CNN news crew has heard of Four Paws' visit to the zoo and has come to interview Amir. Everything is going well. The tiger's heartbeat is regular.
It's amazing the pace at which these guys work. I mean, you can see the sweat on Amir's face because they're working under pressure. They want to give this animal as least sedative as possible and get as much done in a short time as possible.
A drip needed to be set up so that the life-saving fluids could be transferred into the sleeping cat. Drop by drop, the process began. It would take a while to rehydrate the tiger, and CNN took the opportunity to interview Amir. Then, it was as if time froze. The drip stopped. The old tiger's heart stopped beating. The vets had tried their utmost to save his life. Osama, the Siberian tiger's suffering was over.
I mean, the whole veterinary team tried their best to help out here. As we said earlier, it's a 50-50 chance, and we got the wrong 50.
For volunteer Colin Ball, who had spent hours diligently cooling down the sick tiger, the news is gut-wrenching. The war in Libya had indirectly taken another life.
6 months of fighting, gunshots, is one of the reasons. The animal, they didn't go inside enclosure since maybe 20 days. He stay out. Sometimes he's afraid because, you know, cats are nocturnal animals, and we feed them on the late evening. The animal didn't came to eat his food because he's afraid. From everywhere there's a bomb, there's a shot.
If you want to get all philosophical and classical about it, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. But what the Four Paws team are going to walk away with knowing is that they have made a huge difference here. They've come in, they've ensured that there are lines of feed available, they have medicated the animals. They have to sustain this now and bring about the training that's needed in this Tripoli Zoo. That's where they need your help. You can support them. Please do.